The
Good. Somebody, yes, somebody call him up. Is not in this world. He has turned on the. He has raised the hand and is talking. Okay, here we go. Okay. So I was talking about this one. That is sixth. We have completed 8 and 8P. That is LCD interfacing. Left out is 8C program. We'll be doing this also. No problem. And ninth program. Okay. We can expect any one of these for the exam. Today, let's look into this my sixth C program. I think few of you might have done this in the laboratory. I guess when we did the offline laboratory. I think you could do this program, I guess. So you can check out this program. So if you can improve on this, that's better. Because if you can optimize it or come out with a different method, that's also okay. Okay, so let us look into the program statement. So exercise program 16, four LEDs are connected to port pins. There's any pins. So it's why it is not specified is because you know our intention here is not to confine it to a particular port. You can use any port for that matter. Okay, port one, port two, so any port of your choice. Okay, so switch connected to now we are using two switches here. One switch is out of four LEDs, one switch will control the uh, one of the LEDs out of four. Another switch will control the other LED. Okay, so just to identify, just to name the LEDs. So LED 3 and 4 are controlled by the switches. LED 1 and 2 no control. It will automatically blink at a defined rate. LED 1 blinks at a rate of 1 second. LED 2 blinks at a rate of 2.5 seconds. Again, 2.5 seconds is approximate, more than 1 second, something like that. So one switch SW1, when it is pressed, one of the switch out of two, it will toggle the third LED. It should toggle the third LED, not blink. So there is a blink, change, difference between blinking and toggling. It should change the state. If it is on, it should turn off the LED, or if it is already off, it should turn on the LED. Okay, it should only change the state, not toggle. Another switch connected to fourth LED, microcontroller, should change the state of the fourth LED. So that's the basic idea. Okay, just to get an idea, see in this case, obviously when we connect a switch, we are using interrupt because based on the switch condition, we have to control the LED blinking, state change. So for that, definitely the switches should be connected to the the uh, interrupt pins of the microcontroller. Out of two delay rate of 1 second and 2.5 second, since it should run parallelly, so one of them can be run using a subroutine method. Okay, the other can be run using a interrupt method. Of course, both are timers, no doubt. So one is using the interrupt method. Interrupt method. Interrupt method means when the timer overflows, it will automatically blink the LED at a particular rate. So another delay function using a subroutine, or it can be done using a timer. So it is manually monitored. Yes, the schematic looks something like this. Just a second. So schematic of the exercise program, something like this. So what we see here is four LEDs are connected to this is LED one. Okay, so I've taken different colors so that it's easy to identify. Two, 3, and 4 are connected to P1.0, P1.1, P1.1, P1.3. Okay, this is in series. So it is a common cathode connection. Common cathode connection, so that the brightness will be better than compared to. Yes, sorry, not common cathode. It is a common anode connection. Sorry, it is a common anode connection. So better brightness. than compared to common cathode. Okay, so two switches SW1 and SW2 are connected to the P3.2 and P3.3, that is external interrupt pins, interrupt 0 and interrupt 1. It is active low signals, and the physical pins are pin number 12 and pin number 13. Okay, so if you see the switch connection, the switches are connected in the form of that is if the switch is pressed, the pins are connected to ground, and if the switches are open, the pins are the pins, the physical pins are shorted to VCC. That means it's a negative logic. Okay, so what I suggest is, try with one of the logic. Let us say positive logic, for example. If it doesn't work, change the logic of the switch to negative logic. Then check it, because since these pins work on the basis of transition from high to low, okay, negative logic is better. That's the basic idea. Okay, so when the switch is pressed, the pins are shorted to ground. When the switch is open, by default they are shorted to VCC, and since it's active low signal, when it is shorted to VCC, the pins are inactive. When the pins are shorted to ground, pins are active, because it's a active low signal. That's how it is. Okay, it's very simple. So the program, yeah, here it is. Okay, so two switches P3.2 and P3.3 are connected to, can give any nomenclature SW1, SW2. Okay, four LEDs. You can use any port pins. So okay, P1.0, P1.1. You can use any pins for that matter. Okay, why I have taken count 36? You can let us open the compile this itself. This is better. Okay, the count is 36 because LED 1 blinks at a rate of 1 second, and LED 2 blinks at a rate of approximately 2.5 seconds. Okay, now 14, generally decimal value 14 is for the 1 second, and 28 for 2 second, 2.5 times, so approximately 36. 36 for 2.5 seconds. 2 point approximately, so it may not be accurate, until and unless we carefully measure, so it may not be accurate. Okay, definitely more than 1 second. Okay, yeah. This program part is very simple, and in this program part you are very familiar. Delay part, 40, but this is for the 1 second, 1 second delay. Again, though we are using the function method, the subroutine method, we are using timers, because timers will give a accurate delay than compared to subroutine method. Okay, why do I say subroutine? Is because we are written the delay in a subroutine instead of writing in the main program. We are writing in a separate function, delay subroutine. Okay, that's all. Okay. So delay function to generate 1 second, you can give any name: 1 second delay, 2 second delay, just the name. Okay, 14, 0 to 14, start the timer 0, timer 0 for 1 second delay. Okay, so wait till the flag is set to 1. Once the flag is set to 1, clear the flag and stop the timer, so that it has generated 1 second delay. So when the closing parenthesis is executed, it will come out of the delay function. Yes, that's very simple, and that's quite. Next is approximately not named it as renamed it. It should be 2.5 seconds. Okay, timer 2 seconds. We're using interrupt 3. Okay, so interrupt 3 means timer 1 delay, timer 1 interrupt, timer 1 interrupt. Okay, so if you see the priority of interrupt, first is external interrupt 0, highest priority, 0 priority. That's the highest priority, of course. For C programming, embedded C programming, we have to provide a number as part of the interrupt ASR definition, and that number will define the priority of the interrupt. For external interrupt 0, the priority is 0, and timer 0, the priority is 1. If we enable the interrupt due to timer 0, it is on the line. Okay. Okay, so next is external interrupt 1. The priority is 2 level, priority level. Timer 1, priority level is 3. Okay, and last is serial communication, priority level is 4. The least priority interrupt. Okay, so according to this priority, so for timer 1 interrupt, the priority is 3. Okay, fourth level basically. Okay, so count 0, check whether the count is 0. If not, decrement the counter. Okay, so that we can execute the ISR for 36 times, so that it will generate approximately 2.5 second delay. um, Clear the flags to start with, because it will come from the interrupt. So first we have to clear the flag and stop the timer. Toggle, because it has come to this interrupt only because timer 1 has overflown. That is when it reaches, goes from 0000 up to a final count of 1111. It will set the TF1 flag to 1. TF1 flag to 1. So this will generate the interrupt. Once this interrupt is generated, it will come here. Okay, so hence we have to clear the flags and toggle the LED. So LED 2 for 2.5 second delay, toggle the LED, initialize the timer to 0 again, so that we can automatically, we have to start the, we have to continue the process of continuously toggling the second LED, start the timer, initialize count to 36, so that we can generate slightly more than 2 second delay and approximately less than 3 seconds. Okay, fine. So now switches are connected to external interrupt, pin nomenclature wise, interrupt 0, INT 0 bar. There is switch 1 is connected. Okay, and for INT 1, switch 2 is connected. There is a pin, port wise, it is P3.2 and it is P3.3. Okay, so external interrupt 0, highest priority of 0 level. So whenever the switch is pressed, as we have understood, these pins are active low pins. So when the switch goes from high to low, it will generate the interrupt. Okay, so thereby when the switch is pressed, the ISR the microcontroller automatically jumps to this location. That is 0, the ISR address in the memory, ROM memory. It will execute these lines. That is, it will toggle the complement the LED. That is, if it is on, it will turn off, and if it is already off, it will turn on. Insert some delay so that we can identify the change in the state and jump back to the main program. Okay. Similarly, the switch connected to interrupt 1, when it is pressed, that particular pin goes low. When during this transition, the microcontroller generates interrupt. When it generates interrupt, it will automatically jump to this point. Here we are toggling the LED 4 and insert a delay, so that we can identify the change in the transition of the state, or change in the state of the LED. Very simple, guys. This is quite simple. Main program, initialize. Okay, this IT0 IT1 significance is that this should be what is called edge triggered. We know that in microcontroller we can trigger the we can sorry for that, we can generate the interrupt either in edge triggered method or what is known as a level triggered method. Level triggered method, when the pulse is high, during this duration, it will generate interrupt. That is by the external switch connected to the microcontroller. In case of edge triggered method, it is when the signal goes from low to high or from high to low. Okay, edge triggered and level triggered. Okay, so here what is suggested is hardware wise, physical hardware, IT0 and IT1 should be 1. Okay, here for testing purpose I have taken it as 0. You can start with 1 also. Physical hardware should be 1, so that when it is 1, that is both IT0 IT1 is set to 1. When the signal goes from high to low, this condition of high to low transition will be latched in the flag for IT0 and IT1. So these are the flags of external interrupt 0 and external interrupt 1. So this flag condition indicates that the transition period. This is enough to trigger the interrupt or trigger the microcontroller. So they need not be level triggered. That means it need not remain low for too long a time. It is enough to for the signal to go from high to low on these pins, so that it will generate the interrupt. So here for the simulation purpose, I have made it 0. Okay, hardware wise, it is better to set it to 1. Okay, you can note that point. Switches to start with are set to 1. Okay, switches to start with set 1 means it is initialized as a input port, so that when the by default input switch condition is 1. These switches are connected to P3.2 and P3.3, that is interrupt 0 and interrupt 1, interrupt 0 and interrupt 1. So these pins, since it is active low pins, if they are set to 1 by default to start with, they are inactive. That means it will not generate interrupt. If it is set to 0, it will start generating the interrupt. Okay, so better to set it 1. When the switch is pressed, and since the switches are connected to the ground, okay, when the switch is pressed, the pins are set to 0. Pins are set to 0, which will generate the interrupt. That's the basic idea. Um, okay, so that's about the switch. Initialization. Okay, but we are using both the timer 0 and timer 1. Timer 0 will generate 1 second delay, and timer 1 is used to generate 2.5 seconds, more than 2 second delay. Okay. Next is enable interrupt enable. Here we are enabling how many interrupts? 3 interrupts. One is due to timer 1. The other is due to external interrupt 0, represented as EX0, and another interrupt is external interrupt 1. What interrupt we are not enabling is timer 0 and what is known as serial communication. Okay. Only these two interrupts are not enabled. Left out of 6 interrupts, pin number 9 master is set, and timer 0 and serial communications are not enabled. Otherwise, T1, external interrupt 0 and external interrupt 1 interrupts are enabled. Okay, so for which we have to load value of 88H into 88, where it is, 88H into I register, interrupt enable register. Yeah, not 88, sorry, 8DH, 8DH into interrupt enable register. Okay, to start with, all the LEDs are 0. Initial condition. Start the timer. Timer 1, because timer 1 is a interrupt enabled. Interrupt enabled, and hence we have to start the timer in the main program. Whereas timer 0 we are going to take care of in the delay subroutine. Okay, so that's how it is. While infinite execution in here, since LED 1 will toggle at a rate of 1 second. It is toggled with a delay of approximately, by calling subroutine delay, it will generate a delay of 1 second, and hence it will toggle at a rate of 1 second. And at LED2, anyway, it is being controlled by the timer 1 interrupt. It will toggle at a rate of 2 seconds. Okay, so that's how the program should work. Simulation is not an issue. It is very simple, because if you can see the just a second. Yeah, something similar is here. 4 LEDs is already running actually. Actually, I gave some test inputs also, like I turned on the switches also, so that's why we can see, it is okay now. Okay, so this is LED 1. This is the first LED toggling at approximately 1 second. Second LED will toggle approximately slightly, maybe more than 2 seconds, or maybe close to it, because it depends on various factors. LED 3 and 4 initially they are in the off condition. Okay, or maybe on, because we have set it to 1. It is in the on condition. Why? Because pins are 0, and anodes are connected to VCC. It is in the on condition. Okay, what we have to do now is, when we press the switch, corresponding LED should turn on, should change the state. So that's the basic idea. Okay, but what the problem here we face is, whenever we press the switch, the program the microcontroller will jump to its subroutine, that is ISR, interrupt service routine. It will execute interrupt service routine. It will come back to the main program. But since this timer is running constantly, this timer interrupt is running constantly, It will go back here. It will execute the this ISR, which will generate approximately 2.5 second delay. Okay, so thereby in the program, what we observe is when I press a switch. Okay, let us say this is the switch one, whichever it is. I'm not sure. I think this is switch one. This is switch one, and this is switch two. Okay, yeah. So let us say the switch one, when it is pressed only once. It's not that it pressed and kept it pressed. Once it is pressed once, you can see that the third switch will toggle, change the state. Okay, press it, leave it, it will change the state. When you press it and leave it, it will change the state. Very simple. Okay, it should not continuously happen. That's why this no the edge triggered method is preferred. Edge triggered method make sure that the triggering happens only during the edge of the clock pulse, not during the entire pulse period. What about the switch 2? When switch 2 is pressed, the fourth LED should change the state. Now both third and fourth LEDs are in the off condition. So for example, if I press the switch 1, third LED will change the state. Okay. So after executing this ISR, it will go back to the main program. But since interrupt two, the interrupt timer 1 interrupt is running, which is controlling the second LED. This continuously toggles. LED one is in the off condition. This is the problem. So we need to modify the code, little bit, so that LED one also toggles. Because by default, when the switches are not pressed, both LED one and LED two should toggle at a given rate. But here the problem what I am facing here is only LED two is toggling at around 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds maybe. LED one is not toggling. It has stopped. LED 3 and 4 not an issue. LED 3 with switch 1 pressed, it will change the state. Similarly, LED 4 with the switch 2 pressed, it will change the state. Very simple. That's okay. So that's how this works. This experiment works. This is the sixth C program. Okay. Of course, physically here I'm not able to press both the switches. Maybe practically when we connect hardware, we can try. We can give it a try. We can press both the switches at the same time, and we can check whether no both LEDs changes the state at the same time or not. It should change because, but practically what we understand is microcontroller can execute only one ISR at a time. Either it will execute this ISR or this ISR, but physically the execution is so fast that for us it looks like microcontroller is executing both ISR at the same time, and physically the hardware wise what we may see is when both the switches are manually pressed, mechanically pressed, both the LED should change the state at the same time, maybe with a slight delay which we may not be able to visualize. It's okay. So this is the sixth C program, exercise program. Similarly, we have the 7C program. Write an embedded C program to continuously count from 1 to 8 and stop the count on the press of a switch. The count should stop at the count being displayed on the. Okay. Of course, this is a 7 segment display. 1 to 8 count. When switch is pressed, it should stop at the count which is currently being displayed. Okay. So here the switch acts as an interrupt. So switch is connected to P3.2 or P3.3, which will generate the interrupt. Okay. Let's try this program. Of course, you can modify the same 7th and 7th B program. Include a switch with a interrupt, so that the switch based on the switch condition, counting operation can be controlled. Okay, just like in this sixth C program, we are controlling the LED blinking using the switch condition. So in 7C, you can control the count display on the 7 segment display using the switch operation. It's okay. So try this program. So in the next class, let us see. By then, if somebody can come out with the program, 7C and let us say 8C program also. We need this 8C also. Here we have two switches. and four possibilities with the two switches. Okay, so this also we have to do, and then in program, and all these programs you have to do it in the hardware also. So once the physical classes resumes, then we have to start implementing this on the hardware. That's all it is. Yes, okay. So that's all from my side now, because LCD we have seen. Let us not go to that LCD again, because until and unless we do it in the hardware, this will not be. This is not an ideal condition. So hardware should make us should teach us the correct actual picture. Should teach us the correct way of interfacing the components and handling the things. This physical, this all this simulation for the practice purpose, so that we can understand how the program works and how the components can be interfaced. That's okay. That's it for today. We'll see in the next lab. Okay, we'll continue in the next lab. Okay, madam. With the sixth Sakala. Okay, it's okay. Thank you. See you. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay, see you. Bye. Okay.